Hi, I'm Jeff, Customer Success Manager at GoPinLeads, here with your webinar on better outbound sales with GoPinLeads. We're live right now. Feel free to join us over on YouTube. If you are at the moment watching on our website, all you have to do is roll your mouse over the YouTube window, press the YouTube logo, click it once, and you'll be launched through to YouTube. The great part about that is you'll be able to see the comments live and be able to participate that way. I'm alive in the comments as well, monitoring throughout this course. I'm going to wait a couple of moments while we wait for more people to join us, and then we'll begin. For anyone who's just joining us from our website, hi, I'm Jeff. I'm the Customer Success Manager at GoPinLeads, and this is the live webinar for better outbound sales with GoPinLeads. If you are still watching on our website, roll your mouse over the YouTube window you're watching in. Look in the bottom right-hand corner of that little YouTube window and you'll see the YouTube logo. Clicking on that will allow you to come through to the YouTube page itself, where you can comment and interact as we go along. Hi, Elaines. Very nice to have you here. Welcome to our course today. We're going to wait just one more minute for people to join our course. We will start at 5 past the hour. I like to give everyone a chance to join us so we don't leave anyone behind. All right, we're about ready to jump into the main part of this webinar, where we will be taking you through better outbound sales using GoPinLeads and a couple of other tools. I see some comments here from people who are watching live right now. Elaine Beignet says hi. Hello, Elaine. And Paul Myers says hi, Jeff. Hello to both of you. If you are still watching from our website, once again, I'm just going to let those who are still watching on our website click through to the YouTube page so you can interact in the comments along with everyone else. The way you do that is you mouse over the YouTube window on our website. When you see the YouTube logo, click on it and you'll come through to the website. You'll be able to see all the comments on the right-hand side of the screen. Hi, Paul Taylor. Great to have you here. Okay, so we're going to dive straight in today without any further ado, our live webinar on better outbound sales with GoPinLeads. A common question when we start broaching the topic of email growth marketing is, why would you do it? Why would you bother? Lots of people don't know that email is almost 40 times more effective than Facebook and Twitter combined. That's the key word here, in helping a business acquire new customers. So what you're looking at is the results you're getting from Facebook and from Twitter. Combine those, you can do better with email. So your ROI, your median ROI with email marketing is 122%. 122%. That is a major return on investment, and it is beating out all the other forms of outbound marketing. So while email may seem old school and like it's not keeping up with the current trend towards social media and being online all the time, email is still your best friend. When you do it right, when you target people appropriately, and when you follow up. So we're going to take you through all of the processes and tools. Sorry for the stutter there. And we will be taking you through absolutely everything that it takes to run a successful campaign. Email prospecting is absolutely the place you want to be in with your sales prospecting capabilities. Probably the highest return on investment for any marketing channel. It's absolutely true. As we discussed on the last slide, it beats out both Facebook and Twitter combined by a factor of about 40. So it'll cost you no more than a few dollars a month. So you're getting a hell of a great ROI, and you're having to pay very little for that ROI. It also offers you some of the fastest results available. Using the tools I'm going to be showing you today, you can run this campaign very quickly, very light on resources, very light on money, and you'll be able to get results almost instantly. And you'll also be able to gather those results over time as they accumulate. So the trouble is, like I said, not everyone knows how to use emails effectively. There are lots of you who may not know that emails are the best way to go. You may be sitting there with crossed arms and a frown on your face saying, "Prove this to me, Jeff." If that's the case, drop me a comment, tell me your thoughts, and I will be reading out your comments all the way through this, answering questions as we go. I'm going to be going through about 2 sections at a time and then pausing for Q&As. Anything that seems super urgent in between, I will address on the fly. So what I want to go through with you next is the process of growth marketing. Study this image for a couple of seconds, and then I'm going to dive in and tell you what it's all about. You always want to start small. In your local area, that's going to be your testing ground, that's going to be your reference point. Start small and test absolutely everything that you do. These tools are going to help you test things, measure your successes, and learn from your mistakes. The tools are going to take care of 3 of these steps for you, leaving you the only thing to focus on being step 1, starting small. Where do you begin? We'll look into that a bit deeper in a moment. You need to use the results that you get, your mistakes, your successes, all of the tests that you've done will have results using these tools. Learn what you can from the data you get back. I'll show you a creative way to interpret that so you'll be able to almost guide yourself in your self-improvement, bearing in mind, of course, that I'm only an email or Skype call away anytime you need anything. That goes for all of our GoPinLeads customers. That also goes for anyone on this webinar, because my main aim is to get you up and running and to get you leads and sales happening. Right, so we've discussed replicating your success, and what do you do after that? The simple answer is, once you come to the end of a campaign, you start again. You replicate your successes, you learn from your mistakes, from the successes and failures that you measured, testing absolutely everything you do. It's the only way to really go. Elaine has got a great question here. What about the anti-spam law in Canada? So, Elaine, I'm not a major litigious expert with Canada. My email campaigns haven't targeted Canada very much in the past. What I'm going to do is, after this webinar, I'll drop you my email address. When you fire me an email, I will give you the answer to that from our team. The great thing about our team is that they are all amazing experts with years and years of experience. So we have a real hive mind scenario. So I'll get you an absolutely sterling answer to that, Elaine. I'll send you my email address just after this. And anyone else who wants the same question answered is also free to email me. If you're on this webinar, you'll have my details at the end of this session. So I just want to reiterate before I dive into the next section that anybody who is watching this from our website should mouse over the YouTube window that you see on our website that you're watching this in. When you see the YouTube logo, click on it. That'll launch through into YouTube's site itself, and you'll be able to watch this webinar on YouTube, and it'll allow you to interact with me in the comments, see other people's comments, and remain completely up to date with us at every step of the way. So if you have a question, feel free, ask it over there. And like's just happened with Elaine, if I don't know the answer off the top of my head, I'm going to give you my email address to everybody in the comments at the end of this, and you'll be able to ask me anything you want to ask afterwards. You'll also have the link to rewatch this at your leisure. So we're going to jump straight into the next section, and this is all about preparation. You want to make sure that your preparation is on point. Preparation is key. I know a lot of people hate planning. A lot of people avoid and procrastinate at this stage. But this is really a crucial place to pay attention, because it actually lays the foundation for everything you're going to be doing in the future. Before you email anybody, you need to work through these 4 points. The first one is to plan your offer. You need to know your offer. As the old and overused saying goes, you need to know it like the back of your hand. That's not often easy, but the plan here is that you go as deep as possible. Pull in your resources, pull in your teams, pull in absolutely everyone that's got a stake in this, and make sure that absolutely every aspect is planned out. How long are you going to be running your offer for? What are you going to include? What deadline? What incentives? What urgency are you going to communicate over the course of your campaign? These are all basic questions, and there are a lot deeper ones that we will touch on, but they are also very specific to your campaign and to your company. Go as deep as you can and don't leave any stone unturned. The more work you do here, the better you will look later down the line. This plan's going to help you to find the next 3 points. You'll refer back to your plan for all of these, and these 3 questions will also help symbiotically to improve the strength of your offer plan. So, will it interest them? You know what your offer is. If it's a database of 1,000 leads, is that going to be interesting? Think about who you're emailing. Think about what they need. Think about the way that you're going to communicate that you have the exact thing that they want. That leads me on to point 2. What is it worth to them? When you understand the value that someone gains from your deliverable, You allow yourself to step into your authority as a professional and to present your company in the best light possible and hold your head up high. You know the worth that even one of your leads is going to give to these people. Whether your gift is leads, whether your campaign is to push a gift or not, whether your campaign is to further your sales cause or to offer a free course, it's always absolutely vital to know what the worth is on the other side, whether it's free or paid for. The last question may seem very similar, but it is a different question completely. Totally different kettle of fish, as the peculiar saying goes. And what we're asking here is, what value can they extract from that? So, what something is worth to you is different to how much value it gives you. This is similar to the old saying that life is all about the experiences. Value speaks more on an emotional level. Value is your day made easier, your paycheck increased, something of tangible worth that's going to make your life quality better. Why is your product going to do that? Why is your offer, your service going to make their lives better? What value does it have? Why is it valuable? That's what you want to be asking yourself. When you're asking what it's worth to them, that's purely financial. That's purely targets, KPIs. That's all very important. But when you're building relationships with people and you want them to open your emails and you want them to interact with you and you want to build a lasting relationship with them, you want to get emotional. You want to get real. You want to really touch these people. Show them that you're there, that you care, and that you'll do absolutely anything that they need to get this done. You're there at the end of the day to solve a problem. And remember, none of this should cost you very much. If anything, sorry about that. None of this should cost you very much, if anything at all. All of these tools, all of these tips are either cheap or free. And you can do this campaign on a free level from start to finish. So whether you want to spend money on these tips or not is completely up to you. And that just depends on how many people you want to email a day, but I'll get into that later. Don't worry about it right now. The most important thing for us to talk about right now are some ideas for you to get a handle on the 4 points that we've just covered. So, your ideas. I've collected some here that I'm going to discuss with you, but these are totally adaptable. All of these are totally alignable with your core values and with what you want to do with your campaign. So, point one, content needs to have a hot burning topic. There needs to be a reason for them to open your email. And this reason differs depending on what you're offering and what your service or product is. Hot burning topics are the way to go. What we mean by a hot burning topic, that sounds very sales. What we mean is just making a point that's relevant, that's real, and that's current. There's no point talking about a problem that was solved 4 years ago. You want to talk about something that's happening right now, and you want to make sure that your point's relevant and your case is valid. So your content is going to be massively adaptable depending on what you're trying to achieve, but you need to also remember that the topic needs to be absolutely burned and ingrained into their memories. You need to make a real impact. Think about your everyday, how many emails you get, how many adverts you see, how many videos you have to watch, how many phone calls, how many conversations, text messages. It all adds up. People are overburdened, overstimulated, and they need a real human to communicate. It is a burning need for people, and that is your entry point. Make them remember you. Do that with intrigue. Do that with absolutely anything you can. Try and avoid sensationalism because people are just really bored of that. And by sensationalism, I mean these sort of speculating on things that you can't yet have full knowledge of. Anything that creates hype, but a hype that you can't control, is probably not such a good thing, depending. There are, of course, exceptions to every rule. But what you want to do is you want to be relevant, you want to be real, you want to be current, you want to make a difference in these people's lives. That's the only time that they're going to click on your email. And even, if you want them to go through to a landing page or commit to a second step, you're going to have to be real with these people. Step number 2 that I want to talk to you about is joining a community. If you have a Facebook community, inviting people to your Facebook community gives them a sense of belonging. Depending on how you structure your Facebook group, you will be giving them a sense of unparalleled transparency, a sense into how your company interacts. Get your people, your employees, your team, your interns, everyone in your company onto those groups as well, and get them interacting. Even if it's just a cheeky like here and there, get the interaction up, get the interaction going, and encourage people to participate. Joining a community is a powerful thing to do. If you don't have a Facebook community of your own, I suggest you go and find one in your niche. Go into Facebook, pop in a search, a couple of keywords that you're looking for, and you'll find a Facebook group. That would be a great community, I'm sure. Go on the number of people in the group and test them out to see how the interaction is. We have 2 great Facebook groups. I'll give you the links at the end of the course. The interaction's great. Our team interacts and our audience interacts as well. So what you have is this collective thinking super being that really is dynamic, and it's a great way for everyone to grow together. It's very valuable because you've given everyone a collaborative space. Number 3, free trial. So free trials are a bit of a contended topic with some people. Some people don't see the value in them. Some people argue that if you give something away for free, there's no incentive to see it through. While there is, of course, merit to that, the benefits of a free trial for me far outweigh the cons. So what the reality is here with free trials is it gives you the ability to say to people, tell me what you need. I'll give you 2 hours worth of our time, our expertise, and at the end of it, the deliverable that you get will communicate my company's value. It'll communicate my company's commitment to you. It'll communicate to you that I really want to get to know you, get to know your company, and solve this problem that you've come to me with. You want to be sincere. If you can't be sincere, you need to reevaluate your approach realistically, because sincerity goes a long way, and it also allows you to have fewer potential pitfalls. One of the great philosophers said that the problem with lying is that you've always got to remember what you said. So if you're being authentic and you're being real, it's effortless, and you've got nothing to fear from free trials, community invites, things like that. Another way to go is to invite people to a webinar like the one you're doing today, for example. And, people do webinars for lots of different reasons. Some people do them to really hammer the hard sell at the end. We don't do that. It's not very authentic to the way Goodman Lantern runs, so we don't like to badger people for things like that. The reason we do webinars is more than likely the reason you'll choose to do webinars as well, and it gives you a fantastic opportunity to sit and connect with your audience in real time. So right now, Paul, Elaine, any one of you that wanted to communicate with me right now, you could easily do that, and I could answer your questions on the fly as we're going along. It also gives you a point of contact. You can tell your clients, your potential clients, your viewers, anyone who's interested in your topic, whether they buy from you or not, it doesn't matter. You can connect with these people and you can learn from each other. Conversations are hugely, hugely valuable. It's worth considering, and its value is deeper than the length of the webinar. And that's the case always. If you do it on YouTube like we're doing here, it's viewable after the fact as well. So yeah, it's a great win-win situation for you and for your clients if you do it the way we do, where it's about learning, it's about communicating. And yeah, we mention our products, but we also mention a bunch of other products that work in symbiotic relationship with it. And we really want to make sure that you know how you can do this cheaply and for free if you're at that point. So look at an event invitation as well. So events are different to webinars, free trials, community invites, all those sorts of things, because events are either in person, they could be a online sort of chat event like a Q&A live session. You could do various different types of events. Sure, a webinar is a type of event, but we wanted to mention it separately because it goes a lot deeper as well. There's the interpretation on events is so completely deep, it's ridiculous. You can do events across a number of different platforms. You could do competition type events, all sorts of things. It's a great way to drum up some excitement and to get people talking, sharing, liking on your comments and your content, which is really where you want to be. You want to go viral as much as possible. So digital gifts are tricky, sure, but they are also an incredibly powerful way to make sure that people know what your outputs are going to be like. What are your deliverables like? They don't know what your quality of work is. So digital gifts, for example, a database, is a really phenomenal way to put your best foot forward and to show people in real terms what they can expect from you. If you give them a gift of a smaller, whittled down version of a product the product that you already do, it'll allow you to show people what they can expect when they get their outputs from you, but it'll also give you some bragging rights. People will share it if they're impressed. People are community creatures. You need to realize that in real life, if you encounter someone exceptional, you'll mention that person to someone else. So if you can be that exceptional force that someone encounters in their everyday life, that's the best place to be. Because then if you send your database, for example, as a digital gift to someone who doesn't need it, and it's amazing, and they can see the quality and they can see the value of it, the likelihood they'll send it on to someone who can use it and will want it, that's huge. That is huge. It's an absolute winner. This digital gift should be something that costs you very little to give away, but it should be something that is hugely appreciated and valued by the client. You need to make sure that they know why you're doing this, and that goes back to those 4 points we covered earlier about knowing the value, knowing the worth, and communicating that effectively. Number 7, this can be a type of a gift, I suppose, but again, it's a lot deeper than the 3 words it's comprised of, and that's the top 100 list. This is something that's very popular. Top 100 lists are a very generous way to go. You can do shorter lists, 50, 20, top 10s, that sort of thing, but top 100 lists are really great because it gives you the potential, as the recipient of this list, it gives you the potential to see who's the best, who's at the bottom of the list, and it's really a very great way to scale. You can scale across 100 entries, and you can really give a good example of what each entry is for, what it does, and why it's placed where it is. The more value, the more information you can put into a top 100 list, the better. Before I jump to the questions, I'm going to go to point number 8 just to finish off this screen, and then we'll move forward. So the 30-minute free consultation. That's a great example of a type of digital gift, but it's also an amazing lead generation tool. Free consultations are worth their weight in gold. We talked about stepping into your worth as a professional. We talked about stepping into the place of being able to say to people, I know what I'm talking about and you can trust me, and communicating that trust and that worth to them. So the 30-minute free consultation is your spot, not only when relevant and appropriate to do elevator pitches and things like that, but you'll be able to gauge really where the other person's coming from, and again, approach this sincerely. You'd want to really chat with people about where they're at, what they need, and just approach it on a human level. Connect with them and they'll appreciate it. So I'm going to jump to the questions now. Elaine's been very busy. Fantastic to see. Thank you, Elaine. And I want to encourage anyone else that wants to ask a question as well to go ahead and do that. You're always welcome. So let's jump into Elaine's questions. Yes, we feel the contact, the connection, and the security and the sincerity. Well, that's great to hear. I'm glad. What we need to do is make that paid forward. And we need to make sure that each of you is doing that, paying it forward, giving it to your clients, because we want to just breed a real business culture that's based around service and a great attitude. Moving to the second comment from Elaine, have you got an example of a digital gift? Sure. So like I mentioned, points 7 could be a good example of a digital gift, also a database. So if you know that you are, for example, Elaine, if you want to supply baking equipment, so ovens, fridges, flash freezing, that sort of thing, units, to bakeries, what you would want to do is you would want to send these bakeries something that would give them a real tangible sense of what it is that you can do for them. So while it's harder with actual products to do gifts via email, this could be leading into point number 8 as well. Your gift to the people that you want to sell to could be, listen, calls with me normally are rated at this, but I value you and I think you've got an amazing little bakery and I want to sell to you. So I'm going to give you a free gift of a 30-minute free consultation, no cost to you. You can walk away, no obligation. Tell me to go away at the end of it. You'll never hear from me again. But that's a great walk away that they can use and they can get to know you as well. Another example of a digital gift is mentioned down the side, more for services and SaaS. So databases is a powerful way to give a digital gift. If you're in the business of supplying leads, if you can give some of those leads away for free and people can go there and run a campaign based on those leads and see that they work and see that they respond, that's great. That's powerful. And that's a great, valuable gift. So that's 2 examples of a digital gift there for you, Elaine. Then also, can you explain more the top 100 list? Sure. So Elaine, the top 100 list is very much, if you think about Heat magazine, the top 100 most attractive actors, actresses, entertainment people in the world. That's a top 100 list on a very basic level, of course. But your top 100 list can go a lot deeper as well. So you could have top 100 earners within a certain industry, top 100 salespeople within a company. Top 100 lists give you a way to communicate any batch of sort of filtered information, stuff that you can sort of go best to worst, current to like least recent. If you can show a progression across the list, it's really good. So number 1 is the absolute best looking person in the world. Number 100 is the 100th best looking person in the world. So the scaling across the list is important for things like, companies, earners, that sort of thing. Number 1 is the top earner across the whole company worldwide. Number 100 is the 100th. So you give a sense of scale with your list, but you're also giving them a topic that they care about. So you wouldn't go and sell a marketing firm, or you wouldn't go and give a marketing firm a top 100 list on celebrities necessarily, unless that was their niche. You want to always make sure that it is absolutely vital. So Paul Myers asked, what ESP would you recommend for email campaign? Should you always create a landing page? Paul, that's a great question. That depends on what your aim is. Landing pages, I'm going to go into a bit deeper later on in this course, in this webinar, so hang about for that, Paul. But to answer your question briefly now, it depends on what your aim is. Landing pages are great for some things. Landing pages are great for data collection. Landing pages are great for feedback mechanisms, for sales funnels. They're really good for all of those things. But you don't always necessarily need to push people to a landing page. If your campaign was to get more people to view your Facebook community, then your one link outward in your email wouldn't go to a landing page unless you wanted to first capture their details. Instead, it would first go to the Facebook group, though, or wherever you wanted to send them. So, Paul, short answer, your landing page is important if it's relevant to your campaign's aim. So this is why it's important also to do the homework in the beginning and know exactly what your campaign aim is. There's no point really paying for a landing page if it's not going to add value to what you get out of the campaign, if you understand my meaning. So Elaine has asked a follow-up question on the top 100 lists, how to build them. So there's a couple of different ways to build these. You can go ahead and basically, look, you want to do this with a sense of sincerity. So anything you do will either be a generic list or it'll be this is our opinion list. So an opinion list will be, I, as Elaine Bernier, feel that this is the top from 1 to 100 list of people, earners, or whatever your list is, list's topic is. But that'll be your personal opinion. So you could go ahead and find other top 100 lists and restructure them based on your values. That's one way to go. Another way to go is to basically crowdsource the thing. So get your team to nominate candidates for a certain niche. So obviously the topic of your list, get your team to nominate candidates for that. And then you can go ahead and vet them. If you're looking for a really quick express way to do it, you can go ahead and combine existing lists and borrow from sources. But what you want to be careful of there is basically just duplicating copyrighted content. That's not cool. You want to be careful of that. You want to make sure that you're on board and always respectable. One way to go, and this is also a great way to make sure that your business shines with this 100 list, is to take what exists and improve on it. So make sure that you are always the one who's pushing the envelope on excellence. I hope that answers your question, Elaine. A little thank you from Paul there. My pleasure, Paul. Anyone else who has a question, feel free to ask. If you are still watching on our website, what you want to do is just click through on the YouTube window that you're watching on. Mouse over, you'll see the YouTube logo. Click on that and you'll be able to go through to the YouTube page and interact with our comments as they happen on the right-hand side of the page. This is an image that shows what I'm going to talk about next, the process. I'm going to leave you with a study of that for 30 seconds, and then I'm going to talk to you about the process and how we can go ahead. I'm just going to have a sip of water. So the process that we're going to follow is very important, and it's going to basically make sure that we are guaranteed success. Before we jump into this, we've just done a question session there, but remember, if you have any questions, you can ask in the comments. And also, if I don't know the answer, and if there's any questions that you've asked me that you want more detail on after this, you can use the email address that I'm going to give you at the end to contact me afterwards. Jumping straight into the process. Step number 1, you need to find email addresses. You need to find people to email, and you need to find the right people. Step 2, draft your email. I'm going to go into how you can do this, how you can make it really relevant, really great, really awesome for your reader. Then creating email templates, that kind of ties in with step number 2, but I'm going to show you why that's different and what tool we use to integrate your list with your draft. Then develop a landing page. This is something that we've just covered in the questions Paul Myers asked if we always need one. The answer is depends on what you need from your campaign, but I'm going to show you how to create an absolute dynamite landing page later on. Analyze the data. Like we said before, you always want to use the data you've gathered and make sure that it makes sense, make sure that it's relevant, and make sure that it lines up with the results that you're getting in your inbox. Afterwards, you want to rinse and repeat. Do the same thing. Dust off the dust from your knees. Make sure that you are fully recovered from the knocks and blows you may have gotten in the first round, and make sure that you've learned where you can do better. It's very important to make sure that you are always improving, pushing the envelope. There's a lot of companies out there in the world, and the only way you're going to stay relevant and real and alive and kicking in the business environment is to make sure that you're always pushing things forward. On that note, think about a world where every business is constantly pushing advancement. Think about the world in 10 years under those circumstances and choose to be part of that. Come along with us and make sure that your attitude is right. Make sure that your heart's in it. Let's make a difference in business, and let's bring the heart back into it as well. So step number one, this is where I'm going to go into more detail with you guys. Step number one is to find the email addresses, and this is where our tool, GoPinLeads, comes in. Now, this can be seen probably by some people as a shameless plug, but the fact of the matter is we've got a free level of this tool as well, where you can get 50 leads a day, and you won't have to worry about anything. So it's a fantastic way to go. So you will be able to find all of the components listed here. Before I go into those in detail, I want to tell you why we made the tool. Goodman Lantern is kind of unique in the way that we develop solutions on a case-by-case basis, and we do this to make sure that we're always real, relevant, and trustworthy in our deliverables. And this has led us to be in this fantastic position where we can develop tools like GoPinLeads. We had a client who needed an extensive list of leads from across a couple of countries, and we wanted to make sure that we got this done at the best rate for the client, but we also wanted to make sure that we got the details of high quality. It's absolutely important that you get the quality right. So what we did is we made the tool GoPinLeads. Using GoPinLeads, we were able to create something that got the job done a lot faster, saved a lot of money, and made the results really, really premium. In the comments on YouTube, our chief has commenting back to you, Paul Myers, just explaining a little bit more on the landing page. So yes, it'll be a great way to get a bit of information and an insight directly from our chief Lantern, who was the driving force behind building GoPinLeads. And he's actually the brain power behind everything we do. So moving on, the 4 points that you see on your screen there are what you will get in the database from GoPinLeads. It's really quick, it's easy. You'll see how fast it is later. I'll show you in the practical section. But GoPinLeads gives you company and individual emails. It gives you phone numbers. It gives you employee job titles, their social media accounts, their company addresses. It basically gives you everything that you need to know about the people in the list. It gives you all the information, all the contact information, and more besides. So you've used the tool, you've got your list. Now you want to set up your emails. The tool you're going to use to do this is called YAM. YAM stands for Yet Another Mail Merge. Using YAM, you can use your own domain or create a new one. Sign up to YAM. It integrates with your Google Sheets within Google Docs. It integrates with your Gmail drafts, and it links your Google Sheets with your Gmail drafts to make sure that your mail merge is absolutely seamless. It'll also allow you to measure your campaign. You'll be able to make sure that everything you're doing is recorded, and you'll be able to see what the reactions were to your campaign. I'm flying through this section because the practical is more important and it'll really hone in on these on a deeper level. So step number 3 is to create your email template. This is a very important part of your campaign, and it's going to make sure that it's automated. It's going to make sure that it's real, relevant, catchy, and that people are drawn in by it, which is where you want to be. People get a ton of emails a day, and like we said earlier, there are Facebook notifications, there's email notifications, there's texts, there's WhatsApps, there's all sorts of things going on every day for professional people. You need to stand out. You need to stand out from the background noise, and you need to hold your head up high and show what you're worth. So this is the first point of contact. This is the first time they're going to experience you and what you're all about. So it's time to make an impression. It's time to make a splash in their mind and make sure they remember you. So your subject line. The best advice I can give you with your subject line, you're going to have to play around with what works and what works well with your corporate structure. But you want to keep it brief and be vague as well. There's no point giving the whole game away in the subject line, because then there's no need to click through and open the email. But if you think in cartoonish terms and they read your subject line and a question mark appears above their head, they're going to open that email and they're going to want to know what you're talking about in your subject line. That's the attitude you need to have with that, because it's going to give you the sense of getting into their mind, getting into their thinking space, and really understanding what we talked about earlier, knowing your value and knowing about why you're valuable to your client as well. It's vital. That's where you want to be. In your planning stage, you will have figured out what the message is that you want to cover, the message you want to convey. It's absolutely vital that you position yourself as a professional and that you hold your head up high, like we said, but you need to know what you're talking about. That's the only way you're going to pull off being the professional you are and communicating just how much you are worth. So you want to make people realize that, your message is brief, it's punchy, it's to the point, and that you can get them drawn in to a longer explanation in a call on your landing page, whatever you need them to go ahead and action towards. You can get that longer message ahead later. This is intrigue. This is memory. This is getting people to be remembering you, thinking about you all the time. Your email should be as if from a friend. Don't be overly formal. Nobody wants to whom it may concern. Nobody wants that. It's very hectic to read. It's almost off-putting. It makes you feel like you're being cross-examined instead of talked to or talked with. Approaching it in a more friendly way takes the bobs off, and it makes you a lot more likely to have a meaningful conversation, because there isn't all of that formality to break down first. Just don't introduce it in the first place. Be real, be relevant, and just approach people as a human from a real honest place. You want your email to be short. It's no good to have a long email. Like we said, people have 100 things to read in a day. Anyone who opens a long email in this day and age, odds on, they're going to close the email without reading it. If you're lucky, they'll skim read, but usually that's not the case. They'll just close it because it's overwhelming. And it's not a pressing need. So there's a lot of deadlines in an everyday job for most people. So if your email is a sales email, and it's not a priority, and it's not interesting, and it's not funny, and it's not anything out of the ordinary, it's not going to be read because they've got more important things to do. So include a link as well. This harks back a little bit to what Paul asked and what Raj answered there as well. So include a link. This link can be to your landing page. That's a great place to include a sign up for free link. Like we said, if you want to do action people towards different links, you can do that as well. And that's the link you would include. Going a little deeper into these emails, I'll tell you what, before we do that, let's have a look at the comments. So Paul, just to read this out, it says, "Thanks, Raj. proposition we're offering is a 100-day free storage in e-commerce fulfillment center EU to acquire new clients in October prior to holiday sales. Value 1.5 thousand euros at a time when Amazon increased storage by 30 to 50%. We want high converting leads. It's very interesting, Paul. That's intriguing. Feel free to pop us an email, pop me an email. You'll have my address after this session. And yeah, we can start a great conversation and send you on the right way. Also, you'll have the links to our Facebook groups. So it's a great place to join because you can have additional insights there. So let's look deeper into the email. So you want to make sure that you're getting this right. Look professional, look clean, look polished at all times. So include a banner. A banner is a great visual tool. It's an image usually at the bottom of your email, just below your name, just above all your other details. And it gives you a great way to communicate your branding, but also just really summarize the service that you're talking about in your email. You'll want to change your banner for each campaign, make it relevant, make it matter. People are going to look at it. People are going to judge you on it. Localize your email as well. So here you can see the addresses fields, the contact us section. Localizing is going to make your life a lot easier. It's going to make your clients' lives a lot easier. They're going to be able to contact you a lot better, and they're going to trust you a lot further because you're being transparent about your details. They'll know where to contact you. Develop variations of this email. It's no good just doing the same thing over and over again if it's not working. So try different things. Split your list into smaller lists and then just test everything that you do. Like we talked about earlier, try and try and try again. Test things out to small batches of people so you don't, potentially harm your reputation in front of an entire list if the absolute catastrophe occurs. But just be careful when you're writing your email. Make sure that everything that you're saying is true, honest, and communicates your values, and you will be fine. Include also, point number 4, an unsubscribe option. This is almost expected these days. If you don't have that, it raises alarm bells in a lot of scenarios. I know it does for me personally. If I get an email from someone, whether it's I've signed up for something or whether it's unsolicited and there's no unsubscribe option, you almost feel a sense of claustrophobia. You feel like you're trapped into this and you're never going to end with this email communication. And it can be quite a crazy problem for a lot of people, and you feel like you want to just escape. So giving them an unsubscribe option actually can decrease the rate of unsubscriptions that you have just because you're giving them the option and they feel like it'll always be there, which it will. And it's just the honest way to go. So include your unsubscribe option. Then a graphic or link. So this talks kind of about, again, the banner, but also talks about your localization and the link that you send out to your landing page. You can do links in 2 ways. Some of you may know this, some of you may not. You can do links in 2 ways. You can action so that when people click on your banner, it links them out. So that's a image graphic link, but there's also text-based links like you can see with the numbers and with the unsubscribe link and with on the previous page. I'll jet back for just a moment so you can see. For the out link to the landing page, that's also text-based. Having too many images is not really advised. It makes the email load through slower. Emails can get lost easier. Rather go light on the images, just have the banner. Your landing page can have the images and the videos and all that sort of stuff. Your email should be tight to the point and as skinny as possible. Don't make it too big. Okay, so the dimensions matter massively on your email. Make sure that it's well edited, that it's well formatted. Just make sure that it looks good. Appealing to the eye, nothing that's jarring, nothing that's off-putting, aesthetically pleasing, if you will, because that'll make sure that you look like a professional in every single way, and it'll make sure that you seem like you have your act together, which you will have, but an email that's well put together will communicate that, and it just helps people feel a lot calmer about dealing with you. So your email campaign is not going to be a one email thing. You're going to want to follow up. You'll do one follow-up email per campaign. You'll want to remind them about the sign-up deadline. Deadlines are so important. There's a real thing that we're going to discuss in just a moment on the next step, which is called FOMO. It's the fear of missing out, FOMO. It's been a buzzword. It's been a viral buzzword for a while now, kind of less popular, I suppose, these days. But FOMO is the fear of missing out. And what you want to do is create that sense of urgency, make people really crave to click that and to be on your offer. Sorry for that interruption. Then you want to make sure that you provide them with the sign-up link so they can action what you're offering. Make sure that you are absolutely clear on what you're doing here. One follow-up per campaign, reminder about the deadline, create that urgency, the fear of missing out, provide them with the sign-up link. That's vital. If they don't have the link, they're not going to go back to your previous email and look for it. They just want it there, make everything easy. Also, you can put keywords in bold. That's usually better than caps lock on words. It's a less shouty looking way of highlighting key points, and it kind of gets the point across in a more eye-friendly way. So I'm going to move on to step number 4, which is the landing page. The landing page is an important part of what you're going to be doing here. You can use HTML, you can use a tool for your landing page. We are going to cover 2 tools here. First is LaunchRock, the second is Instapage. These are fantastic tools. They are really, really great to use for a landing page because they give you templates. They give you ways to make it an easy process while still looking unique and professional. So have a look at LaunchRock and Instapage and check out which will work best for you. Then know that on your landing page, you have to have an introduction. It must say who you are, what you want, and what your offer is. Tell them what you do. Introduce yourself. It's really important, and it makes people trust you, but also remember that hard sells are often off-putting. So gauge what's most appropriate for what you're doing in your campaign. It always depends on your company culture and your company values. Whatever your absolute authentic space is, stay in your authentic space and approach your campaign from that space. Make sure that everything you do is above board and transparent, and you're onto something golden. Another way to gain trust, testimonials. Testimonials are golden. And the better you can make a testimonial look, the more inclusive you can make a testimonial look, the better. So include a picture, include the comment that they made about your company, include their title. If they have a specific title, include that, like on the screen, the doctor we have there. Include what company they're from, what organization they're from. Be as specific as you can. Before we jump further, I see that Raj, our chief lantern, is communicating with Paul about his questions. And yes, like Raj said, drop me an email. My name's Jeff. I'm the Customer Success Manager, and I'm always here to answer your emails, your Skype calls, whatever you need to make your life easier. So at the end of this webinar, I will be dropping my email address in the comments, and you can send me any questions you like there. Drop me an email after this, Paul, and we can arrange a great call. Shout out to our Chief Lantern for being active in the comments. Great stuff. So let's have a bit of a closer look at the concept of FOMO that we were talking about. FOMO is the fear of missing out. Fear of missing out will motivate people real quick. So you want to make people realize that there's urgency to this. You're not going to be hanging around forever. Your offer's not on forever. There is a time limit. There is a countdown. So put the countdown on your page. Put it on your landing page. Show people in real numbers how long they have left. It'll give them a lot more incentive to put their details down. If you don't have that, they feel like time's not really pressing, time's not of the essence, and they can take their sweet time to put the details in, which isn't what you want. You want to make sure that you're converting. Include a form. Include a form to enter your name, email address, telephone number, all of those details. But remember, you don't want to make your form too long either. So think minimalistically. What's the minimum amount of information that would make this process valuable to you and your company? And ask for that information. Use required fields, use unrequired fields as well, and make sure that you give yourself, you arm yourself with the maximum amount of information possible to make sure you're successful. But also, don't ask too many details because people feel exposed and they don't really always have the patience to fill out forms. Consider the last time you were at the DMV traffic department, something along those lines. Forms can get very, very tedious. So keep it short, keep it simple, and keep it valuable to yourself and to them. The sense of FOMO is going to be a big win for you. So step number 5, this is data analysis, and it's quick and it's easy using YAM. Very cool stuff. So this is how it works. When you've run your campaign, YAM's going to tell you how it went. You analyze the data on YAM. It'll tell you how many people opened your email, how many emails you sent in the first place, how many of those were opened, how many were clicked through, how many responded, and how many responded. You want to make sure that you are looking at these details very carefully, because realistically, they're going to tell you where your wins are and where your challenges are in your campaign, and it's going to help you to be better next time. So the way to look at this is either just in the sheet, it'll show you a brief version. I'll show you that in a moment in the practical area. It'll show you in the sheet, who's bounced, who you've sent emails to, who's opened the emails, and who's clicked through to the link. So it'll give you all of that detail, but there's another way to see it in a more comprehensive way on a sidebar. Go into Google Sheets in your file menu, go along from file a couple to the right and click on add-ons, then yet another mail merge and open tracking report. That'll give you the insights that you need to really hone your approach. I'm going to talk about how to hone your approach here for a moment. If we consider this as a logical progression question, you'll see that you've sent out, for example, 100 emails. If 50% of the people have opened the email, that's a difficult one to call. But if it's less than that, it's probably not a very good subject line. If it's more than that, your subject line's probably all right. The higher your opening rate, the better your subject line has been. So that's a good way to gauge it. I mean, it's not a foolproof method, but it is a good way to gauge it in general. Then the next thing to look at is, of course, how many people clicked through to the link. That's going to be a reflection on two things: on the way you put the link in, of course, but also, just to touch on the way you put the link in, people are not going to click on a link that they feel is a bit sketchy. Sometimes people would avoid links that have been shortened with a link shortener, preferring for full links or text-based links like we were talking about. So if people are clicking through, your email body is probably quite good. Your subject lines made them open the email, so you've got 2 ticks there. The next thing to notice isn't going to be very visible through YAM or at all, but you're going to notice it on your other systems that you use already. And that's going to be how many of the people who clicked and signed through and put their details into your landing page actually converted to sales. And that's something you can monitor with your systems. But those steps and that progressional thinking will give you a way to find out what's going wrong at every point, and you'll be able to really make it better. Step number 6 is the one that occasionally makes people groan in desperation. It's the rinse and repeat, do it again. Look at the results you've got. Refine your email targets. Try new sectors, new geographies, new job titles. Reach different people within the businesses you're looking at. Look for people in those companies who are more proactive. Don't be too rigid about job titles. Make sure that you're reaching the person who's going to action your email. This is all about learning. This is a lot of analysis. It doesn't take very long, but if you do it cleverly, the benefits you can reap from this, they're going to blow your mind. You'll learn so much. Offer new incentives within the emails and landing pages. I touched on this earlier in your email body. I mentioned changing your banner in every email campaign, but this extends through to your email copy, your subject lines, your landing pages, the whole shebang. You want to make sure that you're being new, real, relevant all the time. You can't constantly send the same gift out for years on end. It's going to get people quite bored, and it's going to make people less likely to open your emails in the future. So keep it fresh, keep it relevant, keep it new, keep them guessing, really. Change your banners within the email. Make sure that you're doing all you can to get their attention and to be relevant, real, and absolutely communicate in every way, in every little piece of this campaign, what you're doing and how they fit into that. Remember, you're approaching it with a human compassion, and you're making them want to deal with you. It's hugely important. So this next slide is about some GoPinLeads hacks. I see we don't have any questions at the moment. If you do have any, please do comment, and I'll get on those right away. Also, if I don't know the answer, you can email me at the email address I'm going to send to you at the end, and we can have a much better conversation, jump on a call, whatever you prefer. Before I go into these hacks, I'm going to show you how to use these tools. We've talked about a little practical demonstration on how it all fits together. So the first step that you'll recall that we wanted to approach was to find leads. So if you want to find leads, the best thing that we recommend, our tool, like I mentioned, GoPinLeads. There's two iterations of GoPinLeads. You've got the web app, GoPinLeads Amphi. Then you've got the Chrome extension that plugs in and works alongside Google Maps, which I have opened here to a nice world view showing the United States, Mexico, Canada, and South America. Very nice. So let's have a look, first of all, at GoPinLeads Amphi, our web app. So very quick, very easy. You'll sign in. I've already signed in. You can see my smiling face in the corner there. I'm going to do a search, very simple, very quick. And what I'm looking for here is mechanics, spelling terribly. Looking for mechanics, and I'm going to be focusing in on the Bristol area of the UK. So going through to this is going to give me my list of mechanics in Bristol. If you give it a moment, it will load through all of the details and give you the results that you're after. We also have the web app. While that's loading, I have a bit of a connection problem at the moment. I apologize for the delay there, but let me show you the one that the version of our app, the Chrome extension that works using Google Maps and Google Chrome. Here I'm going to look up bars, and I'm going to look up bars in New York, USA. So as you can see, in the normal way, Google Maps populated bars near New York, USA. I can go ahead and change my search area and then say search this area. You know, these are normal Google Maps competencies. And then when I have the area that I want and I have the view that I want, I will go through to the GoPinLeads Chrome extension. And that'll allow me to pull all of these leads through It's forgotten my login details, but I'll just put those in. This is really good. You can log in with your Facebook, with your Google, with LinkedIn, as well as with email addresses. It's really quick, really easy. So my login was successful. The tool is super, super fluid in that way. And what you get here is you get all of the lists when you open the Chrome extension using the button in the browser of Chrome. You will get your list of businesses. For this case, in this explanation, I'm selecting all. And when I've got them all, I mean, you can also deselect specific ones if you don't want to include them. That's doable. It also shows you at the bottom how many results you've selected. Then you go through and add the businesses using the big yellow button on the top. That'll bring you through to the next page. This is your Leads tab, as you can see on the top corner there. And this is the people within those businesses. I've pressed select all again, and then here you can again see how many results were selected. You can also clear the results here if you so choose. I'm going to go and select add leads. Now that goes through to the next page. And as you can see at the top here, 62 results will be emailed through to you. It's remembered my email address from when I signed in. And when I press export businesses and leads, it's going to send me that database. As you can see on the screen, it says success. List can take up to 10 minutes to reach your inbox. Start another search is how you can go ahead and do another search using new keywords in Google Maps as you did before. So let's go back to our web app. Let's try a search for social media agencies, and we're going to look in London, UK. So anyone that's got the keywords social media and are in London, UK, that's going to load through the list, as you can see here on the left-hand side of the screen. I'm going to press select all. That gives me all of the lists here. Scroll down to the bottom. This is the slight difference with the web app. Press load more. You can press that a bunch of times, as many times as it allows, and that'll allow you to get the maximum number of leads for your keyword possible. When you have them all, I've once again, just to remind you, pressed select all. You go once again like you did in the Chrome extension version of the tool. You press on add businesses. That allows you to go through to the next page, which is also in this version the Leads tab. And the Leads tab has all of the people within these businesses that you've pulled. Everyone that's got those keywords that you asked for in the location that you asked for, in this case, London. I've pressed select all on my leads because I want all of them. Remembering, of course, you can deselect the ones you don't want. And I've pressed select leads. Very similarly to the way that the Chrome extension version of the tool works, here you can see that it remembers not only how many results will be emailed to you, but your email address from when you signed in. I don't personally need these leads right now, and I've already sent a list to myself to show you how it comes through, so I'm going to cancel this search. So let's have a look at how these come through. Pop through to your email, and you will see that your results will have come through. If it takes a couple of moments, that's pretty normal. The more leads you pull through, sometimes it can take a little extra time. So while we're waiting for that to come through, I'm going to talk to you about your emails. So this is an example of a draft that I have gone ahead and written in Gmail. So let's get into this a bit deeper. I've given it the subject line. It's a horrible subject line, webinar first name draft, just so we can know what this draft is for. And here in the first line, you'll see, hi, got the curved brackets, first name, closed curved brackets, double those up. That is the code sector. That's the only coding you need to know to get this to work. How cool is that? So you just need to put in curved bracket twice, first name, close curved bracket twice. That's going to make sure that the database pulls the first name of the recipient through and sends it to them. Then The rest of my email is just so my team doesn't wonder why I'm sending them strange emails. This is the test email from the webinar. Cold emailing is an awesomely productive way of growing your business. Click here to start today with GoPinLeads. That's a great example to show you there. That's the graphic link. Sorry, that's the text-based link that will go through to GoPinLeads. And here at the bottom, it says book a call with me below to learn more. As you can see, I've got a link below where people can book calls with me. That's a great way to just simplify your process as well, and gives people the freedom to choose a time that suits them. It's a much more friendly way of doing it. And of course, my banner is there. That is also clickable through to Goodman Lantern and GoPinLeads. So how does it work? Let's have a look at that. So you'll have a database. I'm going to show you the GoPinLeads database in a moment, but first I'm going to show you this process of how YAM works. And I'm going to be sending these emails out right now live as we're doing this. And I've got my colleagues in this very short database, just as an example, so you can see what the results of YAM are. So here I've got webinar first name draft, and my first name file is here. First name column. First names are recorded in that column. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to go ahead and open add-ons and select yet another mail merge. Before you do that, make sure that your first name here is exactly the same as your first name in your draft. I like to make sure that this is absolutely correct by copy and pasting it from there in your database through to the draft. And that gives you full confidence that you've gotten it right. There's no editing problems and you'll be fine. So let's see what happens when I send an email campaign off to this list of 4 people. Click on add-ons, yet another mail merge, and start the mail merge. YAM takes a couple of moments, very, very quick to load through. It's connecting as we speak this database with my Gmail drafts. Here you have a great little window where you can show the drafts that are in your Gmail draft folder at the moment. I'm going to choose the webinar first name draft. As you can see, that's the name of the draft we're using here. And that'll allow me to send that draft to this list of people. Before you do that, though, press the third button along, receive a test email. That'll make sure that you get an email based on the database that you're sending it from. So look in the grayed out background here. You'll see that the first name in the list is my own, Jeff. So the first email in this list will actually be me emailing myself, but no fear on that front. It's no problem at all. So our GoPinLeads list has come through, but this is how the draft then populates. When people receive your draft, you'll see, hi, Jeff. It doesn't say first name anymore. It's replaced the first name field with my actual first name, or the client in this case's first name. So that means my test was successful. Fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and press send to these 4 contacts. Now, the powerful thing here is that YAM is going to go ahead and email each of those people, and it's going to make sure that their first name is inputted into the email that you're sending. It's automatic, it's quick, it's easy. And while it's doing this, while it's having a think, I'm going to go and show you what the GoPinLeads results looks like. So you'll get an email that says GoPinLeads. You click on it, and when you open it up, you'll see all of the details. Very cool. So you've got GoPinLeads bars near New York, USA. That'll be your subject line, so you'll always be able to search for it again and find it super easy in your emails. Here you've got 2 options. Download the results. Feel free to poke on download the results, and that'll download it as a CSV for you in the normal way. I don't want to right now, so I'm going to just cancel. My preference is to view it in Google Sheets. I do a lot of work out of my drive, and I just like having the backup permanently available. Very quick, very easy to get into. So over here, what I've got is my list of businesses. So here I've got the businesses mentioned. Let's do some formatting in this to make sure that you can see more lines more of the time. So here you go. Here you've got your database. First thing that you want to do, go to File, make a copy, and you want to call it anything that's relevant to you. This is going to go to your personal Google Drive, okay? So the reason that you're making a copy is you can't make any changes in the database you receive because that's hosted privately on our servers. If you make a copy, it puts it into your drive and you can make changes to your heart's content. So very quick, very easy. Boom, there you go. It's made my copy. I can make any changes here that I want to make, including resizing stuff, making sure I can see as many lines as I want. I can do filters. I can do all sorts of things. So you've got 3 tabs. Look on the bottom left-hand corner of the Sheets view. Here you've got the Businesses tab. This is the first lot of stuff that we pulled through, the businesses, if you recall in step 1 of using the tool. Then the next tab along is Leads. Leads is all of the people who work in those businesses put there for you to get and contact. They've got email addresses, LinkedIn accounts, URLs for the websites, phone numbers, brick and mortar addresses, job titles, business names, last names, and first names, as we promised. Now, pay attention here. We've got business name. In the 3rd tab, Leads with no name, we've only got business names, but we've still got emails here. Sometimes, like with the case with the first entry, you can extrapolate what the first name is and you can write that out if you want to. But a really quick, really easy way to go is to use business name instead of first name. And the way that that would look is like this. In your draft, you would say, hi, business name, again with the curled brackets. So you're just replacing the word first with the word business or whatever the top of the line header is, and that will make sure that it goes through in the appropriate way. This now is the campaign that I sent out, and you can see the number of emails that have been sent, how many have bounced. The reason that the last line bounced is the email address is fake. I put in the email address fake@fake.com just to make sure that it would bounce, as it has there. So you can see if the email bounces, it tells you. Look on the right-hand side of the screen, you've got your tracking report. Yam is tracking who has answered, who has bounced every step of the way. Super easy. So what I've done as well is I've wanted to make absolute sure that you can see what all of the different results are here. So I'm going to go and to my phone, and I'm going to make sure that I open that email. And when we pop back in a moment, you'll see that it has updated that email has been opened. So you'll see that in just a moment. Once again, my connection is a little bit hectic. I apologize for that, but we'll move through this quite well. Okay, so it hasn't come through just yet, but I'll leave you with this. This will update as soon as the email has opened. It seems I'm having an email inbox problem on my phone, which is not a problem, but that's, at least you can see that bounced comes up in the red. If it's been opened, if it's been clicked, that also gets indicated. Now, we talked about your tracking report. You'll notice that the sidebar, I sneakily closed that while you weren't looking. So we want to get it back. Go to Add-ons, Yet Another Mail Merge, and Open Tracking Report. After a couple of moments, you've got your sidebar back and you can see exactly where you are and what's happening at all times. Very quick, very easy, very simple. All right, so the last thing that I want to get into is some GoPinLeads hacks to make you even more successful, because that's always our aim, is to fully equip you for success. Before I do that, I'm going to have a look at the comments real quick. So Paul, your interaction is on point. Thank you for that. It's great that you're asking so many questions. Very, very cool. So Can you change or hide the sender email address or exclude it entirely? Paul, I'm going to include that answer for you in my email. From my personal experience, I don't know of a way to do that, but I'll look into that for you. So the email quality score, if you're looking at measuring the quality of your actual content, it doesn't do that. It just basically tells you the sent, the opened, the bounced, and the clicked rates. If you want to get better handle on your content side of things, email quality score in that regard, then hang about afterwards, pop me an email, and I'll get you on the right track with that. The last question there by Paul is it important to warm up email domain before launching campaign so Gmail doesn't spam your emails? In my experience, the best way to avoid being spammed is to realistically just watch how many you're sending. If you're sending thousands in a day, they're going to flag you. But if you send it out in batches and you do it slower, then you're much more likely to get better results from it. All right, so if I haven't answered your questions to your heart's content, then please do send me an email. I'll be sending you my email address in the comment section after this webinar. Let's dive into the 4 GoPinLeads hacks. This is going to boost your results, make it even more awesome. So first one, subtract irrelevant results. I'm going to actually run through these hacks and then show you the 2 that I can practically. And so first one, use the subtract prefix. Hyphen key for different wording there to remove keywords you don't want. You might have done this in a Google search previously, so you would put the subtract or minus or hyphen symbol followed by the keyword you do not want to include. That'll make sure it's not included, and you can rest assured there. Number 2, niche searches work best using Google Maps plus GoPinLeads Chrome extension combination. So you'll want to use GoPinLeads Chrome extension alongside Google Maps for niche searches because it includes then reviews, and that boosts your accuracy massively. It's a great thing to do. Number 3, hotels and accommodation. These keywords, such as hotels, they're best found using the GoPinLeads Amphi web app. The reason is Google has algorithms that sort of mess with who gets seen and how often. They have data control over making money selling rooms and all sorts of things. So you'll just want to use the web app for that to get the best results. Then number 4, the last little GoPinLeads hack that I have for you is about city discrepancies. So if you are finding leads that are not from the same city, just add the city name in the filter text box alongside the country name. All right, so I'm going to show you quickly how to do that, and then I'll circle back to point number 1, which is, as you remember, how to subtract irrelevant leads. So first of all, city discrepancies. I'm going to go through to, first of all, the web app. So once again, I'm going to look for social media agencies, and I'm going to look in London. Once again, when that comes through to the next page, I'm going to select the businesses that I'm looking for, go through to the leads page where I have my search filter, city, country, job titles, etc. box. Here I'm going to use the subtract symbol we've spoken about, and I'm going to follow that with the keyword that I don't want. So I'm looking for social media agencies, and I'm going to remove anybody that also does design because I want something very specific, and that's gone ahead and updated my list. You will then go ahead, select the ones that you want, and process them through in the normal way. This also works using the GoPinLeads Chrome extension and Google Maps combination. So if we repeat our search for bars near New York, USA, and we go ahead and open GoPinLeads, we will see a very similar process. Select the businesses you want, and once again, you have your search filter box. Here, I'm going to remove anyone that has the word wine as a keyword because I'm not interested in that, and that's going to give me much better list for my specific needs that doesn't have anything to do with wine. It's really good. So I'm going to clear that off so I can show you the next one. That was removing any irrelevant leads. So the next one that I want to show you, the next tip that I'm going to show you is going to bounce back to our point 4, and this is about city discrepancies. So with your city discrepancies, you may find sometimes that people have conflicting information that they've put online. Some people commute into work. These things happen. So let's make sure that we get absolutely where we want to be. I'm going to do our search once again, third and final time, social media agencies in London, UK, and that's going to show me what I need to know. But I can, of course, filter this back, and I can make sure that I'm only getting people that are in London. So in the normal way, add your businesses through, and then in your search filter box, you want to add the keywords once again to make sure that you're only getting people who are where you need them to be. In this case, London. You can get very specific here. You can go absolutely to town. You can get specific. You can say if you want only those people who are located in Hackney, there's a way to do that, and make sure that you're only getting the best results and go down to, you know, the results that you really are requiring. You can do the same thing again in the Chrome extension, Google Maps combination. Let's quickly, for the sake of speed, do our bars near New York. Search again, open GoPinLeads, and that's going to make sure that I can go ahead, select all, add my leads. Sorry, go ahead, add my businesses, add my leads. When I get through to the leads page, I've got my search categories again. And remember that I'm only looking for people who are in New York. If you're not in New York, I'm not looking for your bar. So you can reiterate that there. And anyone who works in a bar in New York will be listed here, and you'll have removed anyone who's irrelevant that you're not after. So that brings me really to the end of the session today. What I would love to do is send you all of the details you need to make this the most powerful session you can possibly have. And I'm going to kill my screen share now, and I'm going to send you all the links to what we've talked about today, the links to our Facebook groups, and my email address, so you can copy and paste it and you don't have to write it off the screen. So let's jump straight into that, and I'm going to be sending you absolutely everything that we've covered, and I'm going to be sending it to you in the comments on the Facebook, on the YouTube chat rather, sorry, getting my words tied up there. So what you'll have is, first link is going to be my email address, jeff.a@goodmanlantern.com. I want each and every one of you to feel free, pop me an email. If you don't send me an email, I'll be mortally wounded. So send me an email and ask as many questions as you can. Then I'm going to send you the link through to our GoPinLeads community on Facebook. This is going to give you a lot of support. This is going to give you a community to belong to that believes and is prioritizing the same things that you're learning now. It's a great way to go. The team's all in there. Our community's in there. The second link is to our sales leads and pro content Facebook group. The sales leads and pro content one is going to be a real good resource for you to go and hone your email content. So that's going to be a big win for you to make sure that your email quality is up there, Paul. So that is the sales leads and prospecting group. Make sure you join that. Next link I'm going to give you is to the GoPinLeads Chrome extension. That link goes to the Chrome store. You can download. It's going to be fantastic. Then the next one is to GoPinLeads Amphi, the web app. That's the link you can use to see GoPinLeads, Amphi, and get all the leads that you want without going through the Google Maps route. And then the next link I'm going to give you is the GoPinLeads website, so you can go and look at everything we're doing, all that we believe in. Second to last thing I'm going to give you is the link to yam.com, yet another mail merge.com. And that's the tool we use to merge our mails and to make our campaign run flawlessly and to learn a whole bunch. Then I'm going to give you the link to LaunchRock, which is the landing page tool I talked about. It's a great way to go to host your landing page. Really, really good tool. I'd recommend using it. So it's something that we use. All of these are things that I personally use in my everyday life. These are all tools that I make use of, and they're all tools that I fully believe in. So I encourage you to go ahead, learn about them, watch this webinar over again. If you'd like the easy way to do that, you are more than welcome to send me an email. You've got my email address in the comments, and that's going to give you the best way to contact me and to make sure that we're connected. With any questions, any help you need, I'm Jeff. I'm the Customer Success Manager here at GoPinLeads, and I want to say thank you for joining me on today's webinar. It's been absolutely fantastic to have you all here. The interaction's been great. Thank you, Elaine. Thank you, Paul. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to our Chief Lantern for being here present with us. It's always a great one to have you here. Thank you, Paul Taylor, as well. Thank you to all of us today who have joined us here today on the webinar. It's been great. Feel free to email me, book a call, and I've given you all those links you need, and I am happy to jump on a call with you at any time. Anyone that's been on this webinar, my time is yours. Contact me and we'll get something great done together. Have a great weekend further, and I look forward to hearing from each and every one of you in my email inbox and in the Facebook communities. Cheerio.